deal. Awesome. So Leighton, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm excited to have you here as a guest,
I'm
man.
excited to
So
be here, man. Thanks for having me.
yeah, dude, can you just tell everybody like what you do and like all your specialties and introduce
Oof.
yourself kind of to everybody? I know you're like versatile as hell, like very knowledgeable, probably one of the most knowledgeable persons that I know, truly.
Man, that
As
means a
far
lot
as
to say that. Let me see.
as
So we'll walk through it. I've been a personal trainer for the last 13 years of my life. I started when I was 19. I just made 32 on August 7th.
happy birthday, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Been a metabolic coach for the last 8 years of my life. So what we're 2023 since 2015 when I used to work for a company called Lifetime Fitness. I was their onboarding specialist. So I did your resting metabolic assessment to calculate your resting fat calories burned whenever you weren't exercising and at sleep. Um, I did your active metabolic assessment to really calculate what your heart rate training zones were because most people want to do cardio and workout, but are missing the aspect of building muscle within burning fat. So you can lean bulk if you know how to properly do your heart rate training. So aside from that, I've been a naturopathic nutrition coach for the last 2 years, trying to work with people on how to get their micronutrients within their metabolics because everybody needs different dietary needs. And when I work on metabolics with you, we go for, your blood type, your Ayurvedic dosha, your zodiac sign, whether or not you need hot or cold foods. And depending on your goals, I mean, if you're a type of person that has to sit at a desk all day and can only work out at home with body weight stuff, most people don't realize that calisthenics is one of the greatest ways to build muscle and build strength. Because, I mean, think about it. If you're going to go sit down and do dumbbell bench press with 50-pound dumbbells, why not do push ups if you weigh 250 pounds?
Yeah, that
You
man,
put
that's so true.
140 pounds in each hand.
Yeah, that is so true. So what's that word you said a while ago? That the metabolic training. You said something with it sounded like a K or something. I don't
Uh,
remember. Something you work with the astrology sign.
the Ayurvedic dosha.
Yeah. What is Ayurvedic dosha? What is that?
So
I never
the
even heard of that.
Ayurvedic dosha is based on a type of traditional Chinese medicine where you basically you find out what people's constitution is. And the constitution is one of three different things. It's either kapha, pitta, or vata. And it kind of comes down to all the different elements that are within our earth, earth, fire, air, water.
Water. Hmm.
So, like, somebody with an A minus blood type who's constantly cold may need a little bit more iron in their diet, but can't necessarily digest red meat. So they'll be more of a pescatarian where they'll need more of their iron from their leafy green vegetables. So they'll have more of like a pescatarian, vegetarian style of diet, but they're getting a lot of their minerals and things like that through eating melons, watermelons, cantaloupe, honeydew, things like that, because that really offers you the opportunity to get those micronutrients that you might need. Whereas an O positive like myself is more of a meat eater. So I can go on a straight carnivore diet, cut up, be lean, and still grow muscle without being in a massive caloric deficit. So it actually offers the opportunity for people to get something that's really tailored for them because not
Dude, that's
everybody's going to do that. They're going to be like, hey, you need 45% protein and 30% carbs, and then we'll eat a little bit of fats to even it all out without telling you exactly what fats work best for you because not everybody's susceptible to gaining the nutrients from an avocado as opposed to a tablespoon of olive oil just because it's easier to digest for their body, or they don't have a whole lot of hydrochloric acid within their stomach so they can't have a heavy meat diet because it'll end up sitting on them for 4 days and then putrefying in the gut and then causing leaky gut issues. And then they're spinning their wheels trying to work out and get all of these things taken care of. And they're like, Coach, I'm eating all these different things and I'm staying super lean with what I'm doing, but I'm just not seeing the results. And it just comes down to how they're treating their body because not everybody's built the same. We're as different
mhm.
as the fingerprints on our hands.
Yeah, dude. I love that you know all that good stuff. Cause like I'm a personal trainer, right? But like I don't know none of that stuff.
How long have you been
Like
a trainer for?
macros. You know what I'm saying? But yes, the basics of macros, but all like how the blood type and how your body responds to all that good stuff. I don't know none of that
And see, the
shit.
cool part is that we have so many different um, tools that we can use because it's 2023. Everything's on the internet these days, but it
Yeah,
all depends on where you look. But as far as like finding your Ayurvedic dosha, you can go online and take a test, and it'll ask you questions like, during the summer, are you a heavy sweater, or do you find that you're cold when you walk out into the sun and catch goosebumps, or like, do you find that you need to sleep with the fan and stuff like that? So it'll actually really dive into how you feel as a person every day, as opposed to you know, what your goal is, because then you get to really dive into what your goal is.
yeah, dude, that's awesome. So Leighton, what made you get started with all of this? Is it just the genuine love for people, the help? Is it because like you've dealt with some issues, or somebody in the family had some issues, or is it
So,
just
yeah, kind of all of those
passion?
things. But so,
Hmm.
all right. So it all really began whenever I was playing football in Nichols. I ended up, I came out of high school. I had an opportunity to go D1. Had an injury, didn't get it medically repaired, was on a liability list. They ended up pulling it, so then I didn't go and ended up becoming a preferred walk on for Nichols. So when I did walk on, I was really given a kind of a hard shot at it. That I was supposed to play a linebacker safety position, was really put into a defensive line position, and I just ended up becoming a tackling dummy for literally a year. And I was like, well, this really isn't what I wanted to do. So I ended up moving away. So I left Louisiana, moved to New York. I started working
Nice.
out at this Gold's Gym in the Hudson Valley in Newburgh. And that was kind of where things all kind of took places because my cousin was in high school. So he and I used to go to the gym and work out together. And he learned a lot from me. And I was able to really implement a lot of my knowledge for him. At this point, I still didn't realize what it is that I wanted to do. I was kind of figuring out. I was only 18 years old. So I moved back home for about 5 weeks because it's super expensive to live in New York. I mean, at the
Oh
time,
goodness.
it was like $4 to $5 a gallon for gas out there, and then you got to drive up mountains and stuff, so you constantly burning gas. So yeah, so I
Wow.
ended up moving home. I worked for a family member doing gutters, patios, and vinyl siding. Um, Still stayed in the gym, still kind of ate fairly healthy from what I knew, but at that time I was eating a lot of like canned tuna and canned chicken breast without even realizing I'm putting heavy metals in my body just from the foods that I'm eating from what it's absorbing. So then when I turned 19, a buddy of mine asked me if I wanted to be a roommate with him over in Waco, Texas. He was going to Baylor and I just was like, you know what? Kind of want to, finish my degree, do something else. So I'm sitting there one day and he was like, "Man, what do you want to do?" And I was like, I don't know, man. He was like, I've always realized that you've been pretty good at coaching. He's like, well, why don't you do that? Something with fitness or whatever. He's like, I don't know anybody that works out like you. And I know that every time I work out with you, I get results and I go somewhere. So I think that this is a great opportunity for him. And this is one of my best friends, right? Great head on his shoulders, would take his advice any day of the week, any year of my life during whatever season I'm in.
Mhm.
So I took that to heart. And so, with some of my school money, I actually purchased the National Academy of Sports Medicine Certified Personal Trainer course. So, I really still wasn't in the headspace for, studying because I was still a kid trying to figure everything out. Well,
Yeah.
that was when I decided, hey, this is what I want to do. So I started working with a few people here and there. Helped him lose some weight, kind of gain my confidence in it. And then there was a Gold's Gym in Waco, and I was like, man, I want to work here. So I've been fairly charismatic through my life. Like I just love people, and I love being social and like really, getting to know people. So I ended up working as a fitness consultant for them, doing sales, selling memberships, selling personal training, and was like, man, I'm not really enjoying this whole sales side because it felt like used car salesman type thing. You know what I'm saying? And the
Yeah, yeah,
median
yeah.
household income in Waco was like $40,000 between two people. And not everybody's going to spend $50 a month on a gym membership if they don't understand what the value is. And at the point in time, I was so new to the gym aspect on a commercial side that I didn't really understand how to sell on that end. but I could sell fitness because I understood the benefits of it, because I knew what it did for me mentally.
Right.
So backtracking, whenever I was in seventh grade, I suffered from a really acute um, issue with appendicitis. Kind of got to the point where like I had like a couple days or a few hours, I can't quite remember which one, before my appendix was about to rupture. Like it locked me up so bad in pain one day in the middle of social studies class. Like I fell out my desk, I was curled up on the floor, I was done.
Damn.
So
Damn.
my mom and dad took me to the hospital. I got it taken out. And without realizing, because most people don't know this, but your appendix is actually an essential organ in your body. They'll sit there and tell you that it's not an essential organ. Well, your appendix is an essential organ because it's the storehouse for all of the probiotic bacteria that goes back into your stomach as you eat and digest food. So for the longest
Wow.
time, I had a difficult time losing fat, getting these things off my body. So I was like, man, what do I do? Like how do I figure this out? So then I realized I wanted to, kind of learn a little bit more about dietetics. So I started taking some dietetics courses, learning what would the makeup of certain foods were and how they affected the body, what taking fiber was like, how to properly drink enough water, what types of water to drink, how to fast. And I'm still, like I said, still building that up. But whenever 2013 rolled around, I was about to graduate school and I didn't really know where I wanted to go after that. So I ended up moving to Denton, Texas, went to University of North Texas, and started working at Papados. Great restaurant. Don't know if you've ever been there before, but it's a seafood kitchen. It's a chain. Fantastic.
I've seen. I haven't eaten there, but I have seen it and never tried it though.
It's
So it is
definitely worth
good.
a try. It's definitely worth a try.
Okay.
Pretty pricey, but worth it. So while I was there, I took a lot of my time and I started working out in the rec and, building a lot of functional performance. I worked with somebody while I was in Waco that really helped get me to the point where I was like, I kind of want to play football again. So he helped me get my 40 down, got my vertical up. I was fast, I was strong, I was hitting sets of 10 muscle ups at a time. Like I was like 205, just felt great, but I still wasn't shredded. So I was like, man, I really like, I see these guys and they make it look easy. Well, granted, I didn't really know that I had one hand tied behind my back the entire time. So things fell apart whenever I was at UNT, kind of fell into heavy depression behind a girl. Really did a lot of things I wish I hadn't done, wasted a lot of time, and, hurt her in the process. So if she ever sees this, I apologize for what I've done to you.
Mhm.
But moving forward through that, I ended up moving into my dad's house. So during that time, I got a lot closer with God. So, with that being said, I really spent more time on learning the ins and outs of training. And this was around 2015. I finished my certification for personal training, and then I purchased the performance enhancement specialization. So I was working at Saltgrass Steakhouse one time, and I ended up serving the regional director of Lifetime Fitness. And she was like, "Hey, I really love your personality." She said, You seem like you're fit." So I was like, I was like, I've been working out for a while. I've trained a few clients, like they've been successful. I was like, I'd like to get back into doing that. She said, well, why don't you come take an interview with us? So I ended up going to Lifetime Fitness, did an interview, and they put me through my paces. And that was a really great company to build confidence as a personal trainer, because they really take you on a wholly encompassing level. It's not like you just walked in and it was like, hey, this is a great workout to do. It'll get your heart rate up. You'll burn fat. It was more like, you want to learn how to lift. Okay, so we're going to take you from sitting on the couch to walking out the door to running down the street to flying in the sky. And so after a month or so, they put me up for promotion to be the onboarding specialist. During that time was when I started to work on performance enhancement, and I started learning how to build personal performance for people, not just to lose weight, because yeah, that's a great goal, but how to properly recomposition their bodies, how to take that fat and build the muscle so that they could lower their heart rates and their stress level, therefore keeping the cortisol off of them and compounding their workouts with the fat loss so that they really started to feel more confident, stronger every day, sleeping better, eating better, having a better mental function, you know? So, working
That's
through that,
awesome.
I ended up moving home. Had a roommate that was not the greatest at the time. He and I worked together, but I didn't realize that he had a severe alcohol problem. He ended up spending all of his rent money and writing hot checks. So we ended up
Oh
getting evicted
goodness.
and kicked out of our place. And I was over in Texas. I didn't really have anywhere else to go. My dad had already lended, as much space as he could have. And I didn't want to put that back on them. Like, this was my time to really get on my feet and figure it out. Well, luckily for me, my best friend had a room open in his house. So he's like, hey, come back home. We can figure this out. We'll get you back on your feet. So me and my dog, Jolie, ended up moving back
Mhm.
home. And that was when I was like, man, I still want to train. I still want to do these things. So I continued to still develop myself, right? Well, now I was doing more of the metabolic coaching side since I had worked as an onboarding specialist at Lifetime. So I was actually really able to work with people on a much more in depth level than just making workouts and stuff. Because, I mean, at the end of the
Mhm.
day, it comes down to calories in versus calories out. If you want to lose
Yeah.
weight, if you want to build muscle, it all depends on what you're putting in your body as opposed to what you're putting out. Well, even during that time, I was working for my family again. I was doing gutter vinyl siding and patios as well. And then I was working part time at Freeman's as a bartender and at Anytime Fitness as the like I don't explain it. I was kind of like the Swiss Army knife. I cleaned the facility, I ran the memberships, I called the people for sales. I trained clients that I picked up while I was there, and it made me realize, like, hey, you got to keep doing this. This is what your calling is, man. This is what you were meant
Mhm.
to do. Keep going. So we kind of had a falling out during that time with the owner, and so I ended up not falling backwards, but kind of fell forwards because Workout 360 was open in the hospital. I'm not sure if you ever heard of that place, but
Yeah. Yeah. I do remember
yeah,
that
I want to give a
place.
special shout out to Nancy. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to go work over there. She was great. She actually offered me, the opportunity to really increase my talents and add something new. And so I taught some fitness classes over there. I worked with a bunch of clients, got into the best shape of my life. Finally was starting to understand, like, hey, if you fast, your body goes into autophagy. What autophagy is the, and this is probably the funniest way that I can explain this. Think about feudal Ireland in like the teen centuries, right? So, at a time where they were in a massive famine, a lot of these feudal lords were hoarding all of the potatoes and grain that were being harvested by the peasants outside of their castles. So, at one point, the peasants had no food. And because they had no food, they were starting to get up in arms. They were getting angry. So, they created a mob. They ransacked the castle and they went and got all the food that they needed in order to survive. Your body does the same exact thing. It actually will spike your testosterone because it starts to increase almost an aggressive level of cellular activity to where it'll go into the fat cells that you have stored on your body already and it'll pull the nutrients out because your muscle uses fat for fuel. But the issue is that when we eat, depending on how clean your liver is, if your liver is not clean, it will not process the food. Your pancreas will then process everything and spit out insulin. So then you become insulin resistant because your body is so used to having that in there and it just becomes like a norm for it, right? So then you're not getting the carbohydrate benefit. You're not getting the sugar benefit. You're not getting the things that your muscle needs in order to grow. And your body's just storing it because it's saying, hey, we just spit out a bunch of insulin. I'm going to need more for later. Well,
That's crazy.
so if you start fasting, when you eat that next meal, your body cells will take the glucose out, feed it to the mitochondria. The mitochondria will spit out ATP, and then that'll be an infinite fuel source for your body to continue doing what it's supposed to do, as opposed to storing it. And it'll get rid of everything else on the backside. So you
So
can,
you
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you fast, Leighton?
I do. Like
How do you
I do
how
intermittent fasting, and then I also will do like a whole day, depending on what I've had for the week. But like when I was working at Club 4, I would take like a whole day and fast, and still be able to mentally function without taking a whole bunch of excess caffeine and stuff like that to make sure that I was
what's
able
the
to.
That's awesome. So what's the longest you've ever fasted without
32
food?
hours. 32
32
hours
hours?
no food, all water,
Yeah.
and I was taking Celtic sea salt because Celtic sea salt has 108 minerals that your body needs to communicate. And it allows for your hormone to stay functioning in a proper way. Your thyroid is able to function in a proper way, and it really helps your body learn how to fight through adversity. Because what happens is if we constantly stay on a high carbohydrate diet, we'll get a little foggy headed.
Hmm.
So when you start getting through that stuff, you'll start feeling a little mentally unclear, right? Well, give that a couple days. Drink your water, eat your fruits, light protein, just to give yourself something in between those days that you're fasting. You'll start to realize you don't quite need as much as you thought you did, but you still can manipulate your body's function in between those fasting days to increase your caloric intake so that you're still getting the protein to rebuild the muscles that you broke down from your workout and break down the fat in order to double up that muscle building aspect.
Huh, that's interesting. So can I ask you a question?
Yeah, man.
Like you know how like back in the days, like they used to say that like by not eating and stuff like that, you pretty much wreck your metabolism, right? So so say a person was to fast 2 or 3 times a week where they'll go 24 hours without eating,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Do you believe that that wrecks the metabolism or it keeps it in line?
No, I would say that with just like anything, there's a frequency, right? Your metabolism is never just going to constantly be up here. There's going to be times
Hmm.
where it slows down.
Right.
But the reason that it slows down is because we are putting too much into our body, right? So we're not intentionally eating to a point where we are eating for function. We're eating for the aesthetic purpose because we're supposed to have a certain amount of protein and things like that. But I want you to think about this. If you're trying to lose weight, okay, if you are eating in a caloric deficit of, say, 350, or no, let's say 500 calories a day for easy math, okay? You need 3,500 calories in a caloric deficit to burn 1 pound of fat, okay? If you did cardio, and I love this because I got this from a TikTok video that I watched the other day because the sense that it made was just insane. In order to burn that many calories, you would have to run a marathon and a half. And then if you ran that marathon and a half, your body is then destroyed for 4 to 5 days after that following up. So even when you are super active and you burn that many calories, you then have to replenish them, right? So then think about the next 4 to 5 days. You're not active, you're sitting in recovery mode, your body's super sore, and you're eating. So what's your caloric deficit during that time?
Hmm.
It really shortens. Okay. So if you're still looking to hit 3,500 calories, but your caloric expenditure every day at rest is, say, 22 to 2,500 calories a day, if you fasted for a day to a day and a half, that is your 1 pound of fat. And then you get to go work out and eat your food on the next day and still stay within a deficit. But then use the aspect of fasting and autophagy to pull out of your stored fat to rebuild your muscle because it's going to want to eat your fat before it eats your muscle and put you in an anabolic state as opposed to a catabolic state to then offer you the opportunity to continue pulling from the fat and maintaining your strength. Because if you think about this, our ancestors did not have the same access to food that we do now.
Hmm.
How do you think that we got here? You think they just all
Right.
died off because they didn't eat?
Right.
No.
Right.
They might have gone, sometimes a week at a time before they had a solid meal,
Hmm.
but they drank their water, they ate their fruits, they got the minerals and things like that that their body needed in order to suffice communication and make sure that they were able to make it into the next day to go back on that hunt. So, from a very
Yep.
naturalistic standpoint, the health and wellness industry has been kind of a lie, because if you think about it, if we all stopped eating and started fasting today, and I'm not saying that everybody needs to do this, but I'm saying that if you've gotten to the point where you have the muscle on your body that you're comfortable with and you're just looking to lose weight, this is one of the best tools that you can use, because not only does it heal you from the inside, it builds you on the outside. But if we all stopped
That's
eating today, you want to know what would happen? The entire food
uh,
industry would shut down. They would make
oh
no money.
goodness.
No, it would make no money. And the
Yeah.
sad part is that we have allowed ourselves to be, I guess, coaxed into a consumerism mindset, that we really
Oh yeah.
miss out on the spiritual aspect of putting your body
Mm-hmm.
through a test in order to get the results that you need. Whereas we're doing a
Mm-hmm.
more comfortability thing, where it's like, I'm going to the gym for my mental state and then I'm going to eat this food later. But at the same time, we're not putting ourselves through enough intentional stress to the point where your body is just saying, hey, I'm going to continue eating because my metabolism is super high and I'm hungry. So I'm going
I
to
do
keep
that
eating
stupid
all
shit all
day.
the time.
You know what I'm saying?
I,
Like, man, I'm
yeah,
stressed out.
I've
I need a
done that
snack. I
shit.
can't handle this shit right now.
That's so funny, dude. Look, you know what's crazy? Look, I swear I did not know what Celtic salt was just till just a couple of days ago. I used to use Himalayan salt, but now Celtic salt apparently is the
It's the
real
best one.
deal good stuff. Hmm.
Yeah, it is.
So
So it
does it?
comes. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I hadn't bought any yet, but does it taste like regular salt where like you could put it cook with it and all that good
Yeah.
stuff, or is it
Well,
different?
so here's
Oh,
the
okay.
deal. Salt is supposed to be used as a garnish. It's actually
Hmm.
not supposed to be cooked with, because of the mineral aspect of it and how it melts down whenever it marries to moisture. When you cook with it, a lot of times you'll cook the minerals out because of
Mm.
evaporation.
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
Same thing with
once
greens, right?
right. So like you can use your
Hmm.
herbs, your spices, and those will infuse the flavor into your food. But then you salt your food afterwards to taste, so that you don't over salt it, because most of the time when people salt their food and then they eat it afterwards, they're like, "Oh, I need more salt." Well, you just put a bunch of salt in there, but you cooked out all the good stuff and now you just have the sodium left over. Whereas if you just hit it with that sprinkle afterwards, then you have everything that you need, and then you have little pockets of extra flavor for what you want to get out of your food.
Hmm, that's interesting, man. Look, I love that. That's good. I never even thought of it that way. How you cook out the
Intentional.
mineral, you know? That's crazy.
Intentional.
So,
Yeah.
so you want to finish your story about your journey and all that good stuff,
Yeah.
man? You were how you were talking with Nancy, you know, like in
Yeah.
how Club 360 basically kind of changed everything for you in a sense, right?
Yeah. So it offered me an opportunity to kind of get my foot in the door at the hospital. So I ended up working part time downstairs with Patrick and the Terrible and General Sports Performance Department. Got to work with some more athletes, because back in Waco, I actually had the opportunity to work with some athletes there as well. Some of them went on to the NFL. Some of them just, decided to go a different route. Um, but it gave me another chance to hone my skills as a trainer, because I didn't get to really sink my teeth into performance training in the manner of which I wanted to do, because most people I trained were general population clients. Now I
Hmm.
had access to NFL players, basketball players, overseas basketball players, collegiate soccer players, tennis players, swimmers. I mean, like, I got to really work with every different type of athlete, including powerlifters.
Dude,
And some
that's
of our
awesome.
powerlifters went on to win state, and it's crazy because you don't need a whole lot, but if you have the right material within that place, you can do so much with it. So after that, about 2019, right at the end of 2019, right before COVID, things kind of shifted, and I got sick, and things didn't really work out, so I had to step away from it for a little while, and then obviously everything got shut down. And then I found out that I was having a child. So my plan was to move to Texas, but I ended up staying because, on a moral standpoint, I wanted to be there for my kids. I didn't get to have the relationship with my father that I wish I had because he wasn't ready to be a dad, and I can't fault him for that because we have a wonderful relationship now, and I'm ever so grateful that he's back in my life. But I wanted to be there for my kids, and I didn't want Lacey to have to do it on her own. So I told myself that I would heal myself and figure it out. So
Good
the
man.
last
Good
few
man.
years, thanks, man. I appreciate that. And now we've got, you know, we got two little ones. We've got Millie and we got Marley, and then she's got Mason, um, who I love as my own son. And he's fantastic. He's showing so much more interest in fitness and things like that just because I'm still leading by example in that aspect. So that's really cool to
How
see.
how old is Mason?
He's 8.
8. Millie,
Yeah.
Millie, Millie,
Millie's
Marley, and
2
Mason.
and Marley's 1.
What, dude? That's so cool, man. Look. I wish I could do it all over again and have the mindset I have now with my kids versus the mindset when I had whenever they were young because I drank a lot. You know what I mean? So I was
It was
that
tough.
assertive type dad that was trying to instill fear into my kids instead of showing them love. And
Right, trying to control
I,
the aspect of a child instead of just understanding
yes,
that they are their own
kids,
people, learning just like we are.
yeah. Absolutely, man. But I mean, I didn't know any better. I was just doing with what I knew and what was familiar for me. You know what I mean? So it's it is what it is. I can't change it. But I
You
love
could do
that
better
you're
every day from now on.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and that's all that matters, truly. And your kids are so lucky to have you as a father, somebody that's knowledgeable on diet, exercise, and just everything, like your resume is like it's
Thank
insane. Like I love it, man. Like, have you ever thought about like getting on to like online coaching with people?
Yeah, so I actually have started a link tree, and I'm starting to work through TikTok a little bit. I'm still
Yeah,
working on, doing creation and stuff like that because I've kind of been intimidated by stepping into the online world. But it is something that I definitely want to do. That's something that I definitely want to step into because at the same time, like, there's a lot of people that deserve to have the knowledge that I have, and I want to spread that. Um,
yeah,
so you can actually go to my TikTok page at Thor of Good Earth and go through and look at my link tree, or you can find it on my Instagram as well, which is also at Thor of Good Earth. And I have a nutritional consultation, like client intake form. Kind of takes you through a questionnaire of like, what's your experience has been? Do you have any dietary issues? What's your blood type? You do suffer from any medical issues currently? And then I have an opportunity for you to do a one-on-one consultation once I've taken your client intake form so that we could set up. And I just want to set up to do that monthly, right? So I don't have to work with you every day. We can set your plan up once a month. We'll do a follow up, and then we just continue on that path. And then I also have workout programs that you can use with either a beginner level with no gym equipment, an intermediate level with no gym equipment, an intermediate and advanced level with a whole full gym necessary. And I'm still putting out programs and things like that for people to do. I'm trying to keep them pretty cost effective, because I
dude.
find people are like, hey, this is way too much, because one-on-one training really is tough.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
for my private clients, like at this point in time, I don't really want to do a whole lot of one-on-one like I did whenever I was younger because I had that energy and wanted to run around and do all that. Now I got kids and I want to spend time with it. So,
Yeah,
that's a little bit more pricey, but at the same time if you require that one-on-one, I'll give you exactly what it is that you need.
dude,
But
that's awesome.
yeah,
I love that. I love that you setting up your stuff online like that way because I think I, me personally, I think that's where it's at for
yeah,
people like
there's
us
so many
because,
people out there.
yeah, absolutely, man. You get more opportunity to help more people and you'll have more time to spend with your family like you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because especially having those programs set up, the workout programs like that, and
Oh
they'll
yeah.
sell itself. Like you'll wake up in the morning one day, you'll have 10 programs sold. You're like, oh shit, look
Yeah.
at this. You know
Made
what
a
I
whole
mean? So
day's
like,
salary today. This is great.
yeah, absolutely, man. And it's just gonna continue to grow. And like it excites the shit out. Like you have no idea, like the
Oh
excitement
man,
I
the
have for you,
potential is
man.
so untapped. It really is. And so here's the
Yeah.
cool part. Like, I don't always want to be a personal trainer. What I want to be is a holistic health and wellness lifestyle coach. That's my goal, right? So my fiance is finishing up her master's course in herbalism. So she is literally a test away from being a master level herbalist. I'm working on the nutrition and the fitness side, and she's working on the energy healing and the herbalism side. So we're going to put those two
Hmm.
together and build a wellness retreat that we'd hope to operate out of the country. Probably start here in the States, and then eventually our dream is to be somewhere like in Thailand or Costa Rica, just somewhere beautiful and serene and just like, holy
Water.
and
Oh,
spiritually enlightening.
yeah, yeah, dude. I love that. That is same. I swear. Like I want to get out the States too, and like truly, like it's me. Like I'd love to open up a school to help kids. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? That way, kids don't have to grow up to have to deal with screwed up emotions. You know what I mean? So they could
yeah,
be they can start off on a good path. You know what I mean? And not have
yeah.
to deal with the BS.
Yeah,
That
and
we
that's
had to deal
what
with.
Lacey wants to do too. She wants to build a Montessori. So I think she has my full support. I'm also going to pay for her holistic health practitioner's license as well, so that she can do what she wants to do. Because look, when I tell you that girl is a healer, she has healed me in so many ways.
Yeah,
But I've
dude, that's
watched her
cool.
do it for so many other people too, and that's what
I
she
got
loves.
goosebumps.
Dude, that's awesome.
Like I love that, man. Like that is so cool. Like it's so like I don't know what the hell's happening right now, but like I must get like this sad, not sad, but like crying type feeling and excitement and just love for you, man, because that's
Man,
amazing. Like and in a sense, like I kind of feel like we cross paths for a reason, man. Like
that's what I
I think
believe.
that maybe not right now, but like later on, like I'm telling you, we're probably gonna do some work together or something, and just help to elevate each other in a lot of different ways.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
I,
Look, I'm so grateful that you offered me the opportunity to come and be on your show because, like, this is cool. This is really cool. This is something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to put myself in an aspect of like having more confidence just to be out on camera, to talk to people like you, to
mhm.
to share the knowledge, because I mean, at the end of the day, you don't know what you don't know. And I'm not here to
That's
gatekeep.
true.
I was put
Mhm.
here to help heal people and educate and lead. And that's exactly what I want to
Yes, dude,
do.
I love it. Hey, look, man, look, I've been in contact with a few coaches, and look, I remember meeting this one coach. She was a hormone specialist, right? And
Hmm.
it was like high ticket stuff, like she'd make like 30, 40 grand a month coaching
Oh
this
yeah,
stuff, you know what I mean? So I hope that eventually you can get to that point as well with with the, with the holistic coaching, the holistic health. I hope way more than that. I hope 100 grand, a million a month. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I want you to be able to scale it to where like,
I would love that,
all your
honestly. But at the end
great
of the day, it
grandkids,
is about financial freedom and being able to live life the way it's meant to live. Because we're not, we weren't born just to pay bills and die. I think we're
Right.
supposed to live out our purpose. We're supposed to do these things. We're supposed to come together as a community and help build each other up and make this work for everybody involved. But at the end of the day, I'm just following my purpose. And if the money
Yeah.
comes with it, then that's a great
It's
bonus.
it's more people you better help because I'm sure like you're gonna give back that money to people. You know what I'm saying? In other
Through
ways. You know what
philanthropy,
I'm saying?
through charity. I
So
mean, everything. And that's something that Lacey and I talk about all the time is being able to
yeah.
give back because that's about.
Hmm.
I'm not a selfish person. I'm not greedy.
Right.
I don't want everything. I just want enough for my family to be comfortable and for us to enjoy life together and not have to worry about where that next check's coming from
Right. Right.
and
You
still
know
be able to
something?
do the things that we enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Living,
Yeah.
something I was telling my wife the other day I would love to do, man, was how like a lot of places in Africa and a lot of other places throughout the world, even the United States, lack water. And to me, I'm like, what the fuck, how do we lack water when we got oceans of water? You know, like
Literally.
I'd like to better like get a company basically and get ocean water, clean it to good, healthy, clean water, and provide it to these places. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
For, for no money. You know what I mean? Like maybe in the U.S. sell it, but use that money from the sales and better transport that to other countries that need it too. You know what I mean?
right.
I don't. It makes no sense to me how people lack water. Like I
Dude,
think
it's insane.
it seems intentional to me, you know. But
Well, it does. I don't know if you ever saw this, but there was an interview with the owner and CEO of Nestle, you know, the Pure Life water.
yeah, yeah, I've never seen the interview.
So I saw this and it really changed my perception. I don't buy any Nestle products anymore because of this, but he was on record saying that he doesn't believe that water is a human right, that it should be taxed, and then it should be a consumer item. Are you
The
kidding me?
fuck? That's
70%
what?
of your body is water. You mean to tell me that I gotta pay every time I take a breath?
That's fucked up. I heard that water's poison anyway, right?
For most of it.
Mm-hmm.
Most of it. Yeah.
Dasani and all
Oh,
that.
Dasani's trash. Dasani's trash. And I will
Yeah.
look. You can air that all day. I will say that to the day that I die. Dasani is. We
And
drink
even
Kenwood
that.
Artesian in my house, so like I don't drink anything other than I don't even buy bottled water at the store anymore. I bring my jug
Mhm.
everywhere that I go. Everywhere that I go.
So Kentwood spring water is good water.
Kenwood Artesian water is good.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's that's like man, like I've been struggling to try to find myself good water other than the water from my filter. You know what I mean? I feel like that's good clean water, but I never really tested it, you know.
I
But
mean, if you can get that Conga water filter, it's a few grand, but man, that sucker alkalizes your water. And then, so here's another beautiful benefit of alkalizing your body too. If you have any predisposition of cancerous cells or candida overgrowth, which is essentially what causes cancer, because I just recently found out that the government's got a trademark on the word cancer, so you can't use that in certain situations without being sued. Um, you can,
really,
yeah, it's wild. The
that's
conspiracies run deep, bro, really deep.
that's crazy.
Tell me about it. Somebody might even come find me after this podcast for saying that. But alkalizing your body actually makes it an inhabitable place for candida. Therefore, you have no overgrowth, you have no tumors being created, you have no cancer cells being found in your body. And
Wow.
eating alkaline foods will do that for you too.
I seen something about you could charge your water by basically with baking soda. Is that correct?
Yep, you can, and it'll alkalize
What
your.
that's crazy. Like I'm just learning this stuff. And look, I swear, thank God for TikTok because a lot of this stuff like I would have never heard of or you know what I mean? Because
Yeah, and it's
here,
cool because a
here,
lot of that stuff that's on there is NIH backed. So like you could sit there and be like, yeah, well you heard that from TikTok. Well, yeah, the person that put that out on TikTok actually went through scientific articles and found research backed studies. So all of this is
Mhm,
valid. Granted, it might have come from social media. It is what it is.
right. I seen something yesterday, clean fruits. I think it's baking soda and water. No, apple cider vinegar, I believe.
We
But
use white distilled vinegar and water, and we clean our strawberries, we clean our blueberries. I mean, my daughters have a very wholesome diet. Like Millie doesn't like red meat. She likes turkey. She likes fish. She doesn't eat much meat, but she will eat the hell out of some fruits and vegetables. This
yeah,
girl's too. I'm talking like you give her a raw celery, she will eat it.
you know it's crazy. I think kids like that is something with. It seems like their intuition kind of knows what's good for them in a sense. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
they'll latch
they're
on to
very
that stuff.
tuned
You
in.
know.
Sure,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's cool
Like
because
yeah.
her blood type is A negative, just like Lacey's. My daughter Marley will eat red meat, but she's got an O positive blood type like me, so she loves it. Give her hair, and she's sitting there just like chomping on it. Millie will be like, no, and like throw it off her tray. But you give her
That's
a piece of like pan seared mahi and butter and herbs with lemon, tearing it up, tearing it up.
that's so cool, man.
Oh, I love it. It's cool to watch them too. Like you get to really see the difference in character.
Yeah, yeah. Man, I love that you get to enjoy that with your kids too, because I don't know. I think that's phenomenal. Like me myself, I miss that shit with my kids, like because I work so damn much, working 70, 80 hours a week, and
Yeah.
I'll never do that stupid shit again. For no reason, you know what I'm
Well,
saying?
so
Like,
I realized that, you know, and it was funny because I saw a TikTok video this one day, and this is right before I took the job for Club Four, but it ended up being a shiny thing. But it took away so much because of that split schedule I had. I'd go work at 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. I'd go home for lunch. The girls had just gone down for a nap. I'd end up disrupting their schedule and then leaving Lacey with mad kids because they didn't nap properly, going back to work from 4 to 8, and then I'm missing dinner and they're already in bed. So I was messing
oh
up their
yeah.
schedule and I didn't get to enjoy them in the ways that they were meant to be enjoyed. But I was literally on TikTok right before I took this job, and there was a video that said, man, I really need a job. And it was God. God came back and said, don't get a job. And of course, I took the freaking job. And it ended up
Wow.
causing more stress on my family and our finances than me just doing what I was supposed to be doing from jump, you know?
At
So
least, hey, look, at least you didn't stay in it for, a year or 2 years and completely drain the life out of you and, the family. So very good job
yeah.
on that, and being aware enough to see it and make that change and make the adjustments.
Well, I definitely owe a lot of that to Lacey because you know the egotistical side of myself was like I need to go get it, I need to run, I need a gun, I need to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So you know, having her to be able to show me this is not what we're supposed to do. She's been such a spiritual guide for me in that aspect that it's really given me a lot of confidence to be able to step in the space of wanting to influence people. And I'm not saying that I want to be a TikTok influencer, but I know that I have the opportunity and the characteristics of personality to help more people than not. So why not do that? Why
Dude, I
why not?
love that. I love that, and that your fiance is that partner to tell you, like, dude, like, you know
Get
what
it
you're supposed to be
together,
doing.
bro. I was like,
Yeah, yeah, like
okay,
that's
all
the
right, I'm
dude.
sorry. Yeah.
That's so cool. That is so awesome. So Club Four. So I guess that it makes sense why you're not there anymore is because of that schedule. Like that obviously had to been tough. At first
Yeah, it
it
really
sounds
was.
good and it
I
sounds
knew.
fun, but I
I mean, and it
still.
was great. Don't get me wrong. Like, I got the opportunity to go open up a gym and build the culture the right way. Like, I really was. I got trainers in there that were more than just workout artists. I was able to work
Mhm.
with our customers and our clientele. And I mean, shit, that first month, our total contract value for all the personal training that we sold was $65,000.
Wow, dang, that's
And I didn't even
awesome.
have the staff to really facilitate that much. But I also ended up recruiting a lot more and getting more people in there because Homa's a really like it's an anomaly, dude. We got so many trainers that don't want to
Hmm.
work at a gym.
Hmm.
So many. And I get it, but it's a great start. You know what I'm saying? And the public
Yeah.
deserves that. You know,
Hmm.
so I'm still grateful for the opportunity to go in and be the personal training manager and learn how I want to operate my facility whenever I build
Hmm.
my facility one day because
Yeah. And
that's on the agenda. That is something that is definitely going to happen, and I'm gonna partner with some people that I know that I can trust to help bring the Western medical and Eastern medical together and make it a very whole encompassing approach to wellness. Because I mean, there's a lot of people in the area that are, you know, really just in it for the money. But I
hmm.
know some really great people that aren't in it for the money. They make great money, but they're in it to heal the community. And that's all
Yeah.
I've ever wanted
Hmm.
to do.
Hmm. That's so cool, man. That's what it's
Thanks, bro. I really appreciate that, dude.
that's what, at the end of the day, man. That's what it's about. You know, is truly helping people, not just misguiding people and hoping that they get it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think Leighton, like, I'm so glad we did this podcast because I feel like I got to know you on a deeper level, and it makes me appreciate you. Like, man, like this fucking dude is fucking cool as shit. Like,
Thanks,
man,
man.
like
I
like
really appreciate
uh,
that. Dude, I've always
like
thought about that of you too, because I've seen you around and bro, every time I've seen you, you got this big ass smile on your face. And you really exude the happiness that you are trying to give back to people. And that I have a very special place in my heart for people like you like that. I
yeah.
appreciate you for you. Thank you.
Thank you, man. You know, that's something I've always wanted to do is just make people feel better no matter what. Like even on my dark days, you know what I mean? Like I'm still gonna smile at you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And hope that you're having a good day or that your day's gonna get better, you know what I mean? Just by a simple smile, you know?
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. I love people just like you do, you know? It's just
Care
that
about them
connection.
more so than they realize. And they care about themselves a lot of the times too.
Hmm. Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. So Leighton, you got anything else you want to share with the audience, man? I know like we kind of
Um,
shared your we I'll definitely put your tags and all that good stuff on the
thanks,
Spotify
man.
link and all that good stuff. That way you'll people can find you, you know, and search you up. Because
Hell yeah.
I think what you offer and what you could do for people is truly life changing if they
Well,
really.
that's that's what I'm here for, man. And
Hmm.
I'll be real with you. I don't have anything else until we get to that point that you're like, hey, let's do another one. And I'm gonna go tailor this a little bit more so that it's not so much on the general approach of things that we can really dive into more of the molecular stuff, especially as I'm learning it. I would love to share that. I love people putting people on free game, honestly.
Hmm.
And I like to operate with the mindset of once a client, always a client. So even if I don't work with you anymore, if you ever have a question, please feel free, reach out. I'm not going to snub you just because you're not spending money with me anymore. My whole plan for the people that I work with is to make them self sufficient. So, no, I'm
Hmm.
not going to sit here and be like, let me get at your pockets every single time you talk at me. I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it for the influence and the education to be able to help people get to where they want to go so that they don't have to live their life blindfolded or with an arm tied behind their back.
Yeah, dude, that's I love that. Have you got 1,000 followers yet on TikTok?
Do what?
Do you have a
No,
thousand
I
followers
can't
yet
go
on
live
TikTok?
yet. I'm working on it. I'm
Okay,
at like
okay,
200 followers. So I'm like,
okay.
I got like 800 more to go.
Oh, you gonna get there. It won't take long.
It'll take a
I
little
like
bit.
I came across a few of your videos and like yeah, like 100, 200 something likes. I'm like, damn, look at Leighton, boy, that's awesome. You know, that's
Sometimes you get
cool.
it right, sometimes you don't. I think my first TikTok video had like over 1,000 views or right at 1,000. So
Really.
yeah, and I like for me, I was starting to do like more workout videos and stuff like that, and I realized I was like, it's not about that anymore. Like this ain't for me. I don't need to show people that I could work out, that I'm fit. I can speak it, and that speaks more volumes than sitting there and being like, "Oh wow, look how much this dude can squat." And like, granted, I like to video my PRs and things like that, because
Hmm.
that's more of a me thing. But I like sharing that with people to show them like, "Hey, you don't have to take all of this extra stuff." Like my supplement stack every day. I don't brush my teeth in the morning, and I know that this is going to sound crazy, but at night, your mouth is creating B12, which is a vitamin. It is a cellular metabolism vitamin. It helps your cells communicate with each other. It's like having a morning cup of coffee without the caffeine. So I have my spring water on the side of my bed. So the first thing I do when I wake up, I take a big old gulp of that, swish it around, swallow it. I go to the cabinet in the front. I take my Roman Men's Daily Multivitamin with magnesium, zinc, D3, and tribulus. I take a thermogenic just because I like the aspect of burning a little bit more fat, sweating a little bit more when I go do my morning runs and I do my sun gazing. Um, I will take neem oil because it's good for my skin. It helps to manage the largest organ on my body, not just my face. And like you can tell that there's a little bit of acne here, but I was eating bad food and drinking this weekend. So my body's detoxing, right?
You
So
drink
that's a
alcohol,
good
Nate?
thing to show, huh?
You drink alcohol?
I do every once in a while. Yeah. I don't
Really?
drink
Oh,
very much
okay.
like I used to anymore. But I just Lacey and I found out the other day that we're having another child. So we went over to our friend's house and brought the kids, and I couldn't think of any better couple to ask to be the godmother and godfather of this new one coming in. So we celebrated a little bit,
I
and
got you. That's cool.
yeah, I didn't get hammered, but I definitely got a
Yeah.
little buzz. Was taking some
Yeah.
straight shots of Crown, and I'm not much of a whiskey drinker, but it definitely caught up to me a little bit. So I had look, and that's a whole other thing. I can even teach you how to get off that track too, because I'll tell you what I took last night had me feeling like $1,000,000 when I woke up this morning. But after I take my neem oil, I take this 10-in-1 organic mushroom mental supplement to kind of like help me stay on task. And I'm prescribed Adderall. I don't have to take it. I don't need it. But I know that when
Mhm.
school starts, I'll probably have to start taking a little bit more just to make sure I stay on top of my studies because I'm starting out with 4 classes and biology and chemistry are top two.
You
So
taking 4 classes?
yeah, two of
Dude,
them, two of them. So one of them's an English class, another one's a science technical writing class, and then I've got biology and chemistry starting out the gate.
oh my God, dude, that's crazy.
I got 13 hours this semester. Um,
That's the
yeah,
max you could take, right?
no, the max you could take, I believe, is either 18 or 21.
Oh, okay. God.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's right. My daughter's taking 6 classes, and I think that's the max you could take.
yeah.
And that's, dude, what do you like? You're not gonna be working right now, right? You taking some time
So
off?
yes and no. I work for a general contractor, so I do sales for a contractor that is licensed in all 50 states. We can do industrial, government, municipal contracts, infrastructure contracts, commercial. We can even do residential. But I get paid pretty well on my percentage just for selling a job. Like I get 10%, and the majority of municipal
Ten
contracts
percent is a lot,
on the very low end is like $500,000. So if you think
dude.
about
That's
that,
awesome.
I'm getting 50 grand cut out to me just to do that. So I don't really have to sell a ton of jobs. I can really focus on my studies and my purpose and have that on the back end because that'll end up paying me a year's salary that'll keep us afloat while I'm in school.
Yeah, dude, that's
And I'm
awesome.
building my fitness business, like this is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everything's kind of coming together. And I really wasn't able to focus on that while I was at Club Four. Um, so the fact that we started as a licensed contractor, I did about $500,000 in sales right after Hurricane Ida within like 3 to 4 months. Things kind of slowed down because we were in the process of going help out in Florida and for Hurricane Ian, and then the company restructured. So then we became licensed in all 50 states. Well, now I'm going to be working. I'm actually working on a big contract right now. Praying that it all comes to fruition because if it does, then we'll
Yeah,
be
me too.
we'll be set for a couple years. And I'm trying to build a sales team. So I'm gonna have some people that I'll be working with to send them out. Especially if storms hit or anything like that. Like we're gonna do relief work. So there's a lot of different opportunities for
Dude,
people that
that's
want to work with me. Whether it be in health and wellness or it be in construction. So I've kind of got a couple different things working together to make sure that my family can stay fed.
that's awesome, man. I just got connected with some people the other day. Like I didn't start yet because I gotten sick and all that good stuff. But selling solar panels like in throughout the United States. So I don't know much about it yet, but I am set up. I have to do some training and all that good stuff. But
Yeah,
I'm gonna be getting into that pretty soon. I know down here like it's really not that big of a thing, but I could
no, but
get some
but shit,
get
Texas, Mississippi, places where they got actual open land. Because I mean, here it's a soup bowl, bro. Like we don't have much land to work with, but like so. So my company, we can even broker diesel. We can broker jet fuel. We can build solar farms. Like we can
really.
Yeah, have you ever gone to Florida on I-10 and seen like those fields that are just straight solar panels? We can
Yeah.
do that.
Huh, that's crazy. So
Yeah,
y'all hire? Y'all
yeah,
hire?
yeah.
Huh.
We
We got to have a conversation
Yeah, oh
about
no,
this after.
we'll talk. We'll talk for sure.
Cause like I like selling and closing like is like my like that's
That's
what
your
I
thing.
love to do. You know.
Yeah. And see,
I
here's the cool part
love.
about it. You really just got to be well connected. And I know that you're well connected. So it's something that would
Hmm.
definitely work out for you if it is something that you wanted to do. And so how it works is my team, we work with the 10%. So if I'm splitting a job with you, then we'll do a 5 and 5. But if it's something that you want to handle on your own, if you're part of my team, then I'm working with an 8 and 2. So I'm taking 2%, you get 8.
That's awesome. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No,
That's
I mean, I
fair.
feel like that's fair. I feel like that's very
Absolutely,
fair.
absolutely, man. Even that the 8% is like, damn. Like
I'm
whenever you said
saying,
something about 10% earlier, I was like, golly, that much.
yeah. And like, look,
You know?
it really comes down to the fact of like, I want to help everybody elevate. I want to help anybody that I work with get to a point where they can be financially independent and free and live the life that they want to live and do things like this where they just get to talk to people and have a common interest and really build their businesses and do the things that they want to do with their life and follow their purpose. Because at the end of the day, the money's the vehicle, you know,
Yeah, absolutely.
but
Man,
you got to be the driver.
yeah, absolutely. Dude, Leighton, I want to, I don't know how I could do it, but I want to help you blow up. I want to help you explode because I think
And same for
more.
you. Look, I can't wait till this video airs so that I can go pin it and just start just sending it everywhere.
Dude, I will be sharing like a bunch of snippets from this, probably starting on Thursday or Friday this week, and I'll
Nice.
send them to you. I'll send them to you first, so you could okay it and all that good stuff.
Okay.
You know.
I appreciate that, man. Like, I'm really looking forward to that. And I honestly am looking forward to doing this with you again at some point whenever you're ready. I know you got other
Yeah.
people you want to interview, so I don't want to take up your time. But, you know, as I start to learn some stuff, I'll be like, hey, man, how do you feel about, this? Can we talk about this? Or, is there something that you maybe want to learn and that I might be able to offer some insight to?
Dude, I would
Um,
love. I think in like 2 months after working with you with the construction company, hey, look, we could talk about the growth that has happened since. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah.
Just with the company and all that good stuff. So.
I would love that.
Late, look, thank you, bro. Like, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I really, really appreciate it. Like,
No, man, I appreciate you for having me, honestly.
thank you, brother.
It's huge. Namaste, Mo.
Yes. I